Hello everybody and welcome to week 7 of the Loungers Pokemon Draft League battle. I am Michael of the Green Bay Pachirisus, and I will be giving you the commentary over myself, versus Jake. One of the most hyped up matches. Jake, who's gone undefeated in his season run, and me, who has had a bit of a struggled few weeks, let's say, and I was really looking forward to this match. I know, like many others in the group, were also really hyped for this one. So let's just get right to it. Well, first of all, I should say that during the middle of our match, our first match, we had run into a problem with Showdown where all the battles just suddenly stopped working. So since it was in the middle of our match, we weren't quite sure what to do exactly. So we decided to, me and Jake, we decided to just try to play out the battle as similarly as possible, trying to get the same RNG, and it only took one attempt, but because of that, some things are different, and I will point that out when it happens, but it doesn't happen until a little bit later. So the first few turns should be relatively similar here. So yeah, it's a little bit off, and I believe one of the decisions I make specifically may have cost me the match, but we'll see. We still count it as a victory, but it's kind of like an asterisk there, kind of a victory. It's a kind of victory, because we'll see. I'll show you. I'll stop talking. So I lead off with Chomp, and Jake, following my past few weeks' naming conventions, leads with T-Tar, and these are both really common leads for us. Chomper with the spikes and the Stealth Rocks, and Tyranitar very defensive with Stealth Rocks too. We've seen a couple weeks from now. Obviously I'm faster, so I lead Stealth Rocks, and Jake turn 1 Blizzards and misses. So that was a wake-up call for me. Not expecting the Blizzard from Tyranitar, but I'm fortunate enough to live and not die, and so I hard swap out into Rotom Heat, just so that I can take another Blizzard, since I thought he would probably go for another Blizzard, and yes, he does. Actually lands this time, but only does 18%, and I'm not specially defensive here, so that's why it doesn't do... it does a little bit more damage than it would have normally. I set up the light screens, and then Power Gem here does 41%. So it would have killed me since the light screen had cuts in half whatever damage I take. So I was at 80-70%. Yeah, since that would have done, without the light screen going up, I would have died here. And then that does also reveal that its nature is probably modest, because a max special attack Tyranitar with modest nature would have done a lot. It would have done a lot less damage if it wasn't modest, is what I'm trying to say. Jake also revealed his team to me, or his EV spread. It was 100 in HP, 96 in defense, max special attack, and 60 in probably special defense or something like that, or whatever. Probably not attack, but he did tell me that his HP and defense were 100 and 96 respectively. And we see that the Blizzard Power Gem, I'm assuming that it's probably modest nature. So we see here, I set up the double screens, and he thinks I'm probably going to switch out to Garchomp, and misses the Blizzard yet again. That happened in the original battle as well. And then I go out into Umbreon, which was a very interesting play from that everybody else said. Interesting. Because really, money can't really do anything. So he swaps out into Sylveon, which was interesting to me, because I'm like, what is that Sylveon gonna do? Yeah, it's a fairy type, but I'm pretty bulky. And so then I use Yawn. Yawn was just to force out, if he decided to stay in with Tyranitar, I can just put him to sleep. And since he switched, I just, it was free Yawn. And now this forces him to do one of two things. either fall asleep and like stay in and fall asleep, or switch out and let me get a free whatever move I have here. So I go for Wish. The Body Slam does only 16% to me. So this probably means that it's not max attack or even attacking nature. It's probably like max HP, max defense with like 4 EVs in attack. Yeah, because after a Reflect it only does 16% here. Going up, using the Wish, I switch out into Rotom Heat to get its HP back up, and he falls asleep here, and then switches out to Tyranitar, probably to counter the Rotom Heat again. Reading this, knowing that he's probably going to switch since he doesn't want to stay in, I use Volt Switch, right out to Toxicroak. And now he's in a position where he doesn't want to die. I know that he doesn't want to stay in this Tyranitar, so very smart play. I switch out back into Rotom Heat, and he switches into Slicing Sheath. Probably has like a Psychic move. Otherwise, I'm not sure why he would switch the Grass type into Poison type. But I switched out into Rotom Heat just so I can get my screens back up. Light Screen and then Poison Jet only doing 8%. Probably assuming that it is a max attack, max speed, which with like plus speed nature, as we'll see here later with one of his moves, probably revealed that he's plus speed. Getting the unfortunate poison on my Rotom Heat, and he just decides to keep going for Poison Jab since it's probably the strongest move he has against this thing. And then I switch out into Quaquaval. Here's where things get a little odd. The Sandstorm ends from the Tyranitar, and it's revealed that, I think it was revealed a while ago, but I have Light Screen on my Easy Bake Oven, because it's lasted for 8 turns instead of 5. Forgot to mention that when that came up, but here's where things get interesting. I use Wave Crash. Now, normally, I wouldn't click Wave Crash against a Grass type. Nobody would click Wave Crash against a Grass type. The thing is, I originally clicked Ice Spinner on here, and with my EV spread, which is max attack, Adamant Nature, against probably a 0 HP, 0 defense Lurantis, that had a 50% chance to OHKO. And on the original battle, he was left at 1%. So yeah, we didn't want to take the risk of having to do all that RNG again with the Blizzard missing and the Poison Jab poisoning when it happened. So we decided to use Wave Crash to do the most damage, and then my HP lowering from Trailblaze, because that's what happened in the original. But here's the thing. I use Wave Crash again. Why did I use Wave Crash again? I don't know. I probably could have clicked Ice Spinner there. That would have killed the Lurantis. A-okay. The thing is, I wouldn't have gotten the speed boost from Aqua Step, but I could have used Aqua Step then, and then Ice Spinner. I didn't have to use I didn't have to use Wave Crash twice in a row, because that becomes a problem when the next few turns go out. I'll show you in a second. Trailblaze again. Now he's faster than me, and so then I don't die here. He doesn't want to kill the Quaquaval, because Quaquaval does a lot in these the previous battle. He lets me get an Aqua Step off. And then the Moxie plus the speed boost. And then here, again, his Sylveon dies. And then I Wave Crash into it. I didn't have to use Wave Crash here. Like an idiot, I should have used Wave Crash, or I should have used just Aqua Spinner, or Aqua Step, or Ice Spinner, because those don't do any recoil damage. I didn't have to use Wave Crash because this Sylveon was asleep. So he could have sacked this off in the original battle. He also sacked off the Tyranitar. Just to let you know, he used Terra Flying on it, and I killed it with a Wave Crash. So that left my HP at probably 20 some, and then he sent out the Sylveon, and then I Wave Crashed into it, and then I died. Alright, apologies, I got interrupted just now. But yeah, like I said, I did not have to Wave Crash here. I probably could have just used Aqua Step or Ice Spinner since the Sylveon was dead. or it was asleep. Basically, it was dead. And then I could have wave crashed into the Tyranitar next turn to set the timeline right. But since I didn't, the Quack dies here. I get the Moxie boost here, but then I faint. And then I go into Toxicroak, and then he goes into his Tyranitar. So like last game, he had the Tyranitar out. He decided not to Terra Flying because last game he used the Terra Flying and then got he got killed by my Wave Crash from Quackable. So then he decided to sack it off here to like make it even. But instead of going out into Garchomp like I did in my first game, I went into Toxicroak here. Thinking about it, this might have costed me the game, because with the Garchomp out and him only having like Dragapult, Iron Moth, and Palmot, he didn't have many options to do against me, whereas the Toxicroak was a little bit easier to play around. And thinking about it, yeah, but there's also some other plays that I made later on that could have also costed me the game. So from here on out, the timelines officially diverge, and we get into like the actual like battle from here on out. So here we are. He sacks it off. I just get a Brick off, and with the Iron Moth out, this is really scary. Because Iron Moth does get access to Psychic, and it's a very strong special attacker. But I have prepared for this. Terra Rock and Dazzling Gleam only doing 20%. And now you'd be wondering, well, that's weird. Like, even though it's not a stab move, it still did way too little damage to a Toxicroak. Well, that's because I have Assault Vest. I have max special defense, Assault Vest. And in the Sandstream, Rock's special defense boosts by 50%. So originally, without the Dazzling Gleam, that would have done like probably like 80 some damage or percent. But with the Assault Vest and Terra Rock, that only did 20. So I cut that in about like a quarter, which is really good for me. And I knew that he was probably going to use like Psychic or something, so then I specifically prepped for this, and knowing that, the Bulldoze quad effective kills the Iron Moth. Really well played. I am really proud of that. But then see here, the close combat does kill me, and see here, I don't capitalize on this. I don't know why. I should have just went for it, because I go for Protect thinking that he has Play Rough. So then I Protect here to see what he does, and obviously he's going to use Revival Blessing. And with the Lepa Berry, it brings its PP back up. So he gets 2 of them right off the bat. And I go for Swords Dance here, trying to get the sweep. I did not realize that Palmot is faster than Garchomp here. I would have thought that, I don't even think I looked at Palmot that much when I was prepping, so obviously a little bit of a misplay from me. Close Combat's going to do about 50% with the Rough Skin damage going in, and then Earthquake taking it out. Obviously here, and also I know that he has Dazzling Gleam on the Iron Moth, and it's faster than me too. I know this one's faster than me, so then I don't want to lose my Garchomp. So then I switch out for Rotom Heat, just so that I can, sack it off and bring in the money. So then obviously I can do a little bit of Wish support. I make it Drowsy to force it out, but thinking that he's probably going to go for the kill, he switches out, obviously, and then I use Protect. Thinking about it, I should have just went for the Wish, but I was really thinking that he was going to just go for the kill here. And this Sylveon then becomes a bit of a problem. It becomes a bit of a problem child. We both go for Wish here, and a very standard play. And I try to go for a Yawn, and he sets up Curses. Now, Curse Sylveon? Like, what? Who uses Cursed Sylveon? Like, who? Actually, who uses Cursed Sylveon? But it works here. As you see, its wish comes through. And here, I gotta try to go for a wish. He uses Body Slam, and then I get paralyzed. And with the Synchronize ability, Sylveon also becomes paralyzed. And because Drowsy is not like Rest, it doesn't override any status moves. So now he can't fall asleep from paralysis, which is really bad for me because I want him to go to sleep. You know, I don't care that his speed is halved because he's already using Curse. And knowing Jake, he's gonna break through every single paralysis, and it's really bad for me because I also don't want to be paralyzed here. So just a really, really bad situation for me. Seeing as how he was drowsy, I should have just clicked Protect here so that I can get the guaranteed sleep. And if that went through and he fell asleep, I would have been in a much better situation because then the Sylveon would have been dead because it can't do anything. The Iron Moth, when it switches in, it would die from Stealth Rock. And Dragapult is still at full HP, but with the Sword Stance up, I one-shot the Dragapult with Earthquake. So here I try to go into Chomper. The Sylveon sets up Curse. I get the Wish going up, and of course it's just gonna Body Slam me. So try to SD. I get a lucky Paralysis, which is nice, but Earthquake is only doing 74 because it's got the +2 defense. And then Pixelate, making it Body Slam a physical. It dies. And then here, I try to go into Money, and I get Paralyzed turn 1, obviously. It sets up Wish. I misclicked the Protect. It was supposed to be a foul play, but I would have done anything anyways, because it's resisted, and he's got the +2 defense. So this is a pretty much dead game. It just sets up curses, and I can't do anything. You know, this Sylveon, from when I was talking to Jake, that was specifically meant to counter Umbreon here. Yeah, even with the, that's only doing like, yeah, 29%, because I'm running a special Iron Valiant. Even a physical one wouldn't do that much damage, but yeah, very not a very good Iron Valiant to sweep here. So, unfortunate. That was the strongest move I had, and then I get killed by the Body Slam, and then, just to add insult to injury, I get paralyzed my final turn, and then I die. So once again, Jake wins, undefeated, and he wins through paralysis hacks yet again. A very mirror of week 1, if you have somehow missed that. But yeah, there's a lot of misplays that I did towards the very end. Even though in the beginning, I was playing out of my mind, as we saw in the earlier turns. I was reading him. I had the momentum going because he had fumbled with the turn 1 Blizzard Miss, but he was able to make it back. So, with the Revival Blessing and the Cursed Sylveon. Honestly, Cursed Sylveon, man. Who runs Cursed Sylveon? Well, anyways, that was all I had to talk about for this week's match. It's kind of a half victory, because even Jake himself admitted that had the match not been interrupted and had it played out exactly as the first match went, he probably would have lost. So it's kind of like a half victory. Like, he takes it, it's still considered a victory to him, but there's a little asterisk. Like, he won, but kind of won. So it's not coping. I'm not trying to make myself feel better, but let's just hope that next week I can make a comeback, because I've been on a bit of a losing streak recently. But Jake is doing really well. You know, I hope that Jake goes really far, but I also hope that somebody takes him out, because man, that kid is too powerful. He can't be stopped. Well, thank you all for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye bye. Oh, and I'd also like to mention, Jake doesn't get paralyzed for like the last 4 turns of this match. As we see, turn 35 is the last time he got paralyzed. And I get paralyzed turn 1 when I send out my Umbreon. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Anyways, bye.